Every time Mark comes to the convenience store to buy things, the shop owner Julia always forces him to go to the warehouse next door and stay there for 40 minutes. At first, Mark was a bit reluctant, but after doing this several times, he became very eager. They thought their secret would never be discovered until a child suddenly appeared at the warehouse door that day. Julia chased the kid away quickly, but unfortunately, when the two walked out of the warehouse, the child's mother came looking for him. She had already heard from her child what they were doing in the warehouse. Thinking of her fiancé John, who had just come back, Julia decided to agree to the woman's one condition to make her keep quiet. Poor Mark had no idea that the woman's condition was to let him go to her house and stay for half an hour. When Mark arrived at the woman's house, he thought she just wanted to treat him to a meal. But before long, the dining table in the restaurant started shaking violently. Only then did Mark realize that he himself was the condition Julia had offered. Half an hour later, Mark walked out of the house looking exhausted, while the woman seemed unsatisfied and wanted to keep playing games with him. Mark was scared and ran away as fast as he could. He thought he could finally go home to rest that day, but when he sat by the roadside waiting for a ride, he happened to see Julia passing by with her fiancé John. John enthusiastically wanted to give Mark a ride, but Mark felt a little timid looking at Julia sitting next to him. However, John's tough attitude made it hard for Mark to refuse. In fact, the reason John wanted Mark to get in the car was to ask him for a favor. Since John came back from outside, he had suspected that Julia might be unfaithful to him. So John wanted Mark to keep an eye on Julia after he left, see if any suspicious men appeared around her. If there were, John swore he would torture that man to death. Mark broke into a sweat when he heard this, but he couldn't find a way to leave. When they arrived at John's meat stall, John made an excuse to leave temporarily as planned, and even gave Mark a hint before leaving. Little did John know that the person he was looking for was right in front of him. As soon as John's car drove away, Julia couldn't wait to kiss Mark, dragging him into the farmland behind without giving him time to think. 20 minutes later, Julia walked out looking exhausted with messy clothes. But just then, John came back. He went to Mark, who was urinating at the back, and asked about the situation. Mark had to lie and tell him nothing happened at all. This answer made John completely trust Julia. He even regarded Mark as his best brother, never knowing that Mark was the third party all along.